Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Budiraye Nashtapraye Swabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, 13th chapter, first verse. Sūta Uvaca Viduraha Tirthayatrayam Maitreya Atmano Gatim Jnatva Agat Hastināpuram Taya Vapta Vividsitaha. Sūta Uvaca Vidurastirthayatrayam Maitreya Atmano Gatim Jnatva Hastināpuram Taya Vapta Vividsitaha. Sūta Uvaca Vidurastirthayatrayam Maitreya Atmano Gatim Jnatva Hastināpuram Taya Vapta Vividsitaha. Sūta Uvaca Vidurastirthayatrayam Maitreya Atmano Gatim Jnatva Hastināpuram Taya Vapta Vividsitaha. Sūta Uvaca Vidurastirthayatrayam Word meaning. Sūta Uvaca. Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī said, Vidura Tirthayatrayam, while traveling to different places of pilgrimage. Maitreya, from the great sage Maitreya. Atmanaha, of the self. Gatim, destination. Jnatva, by knowing it. Agat, went back. Hastināpuram, the city of Hastināpura. Taya, by that knowledge. Avapta, sufficiently a gainer. Vividsitaha, being well versed in everything knowable. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya and then returned to Hastināpura. He became as well versed in the subject as he desired. Translation with repetition. Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya, and then returned to Hastināpura. He became as well versed in the subject as he desired. Purport. Vidura, one of the prominent figures in the history of Mahabharata. He was conceived by Vyasadeva in the womb of the maidservant of Ambika, mother of Maharaja Pandu. He is incarnation of Yamaraja. Being cursed by Manduka Muni, he was to become a Sudra. The story is narrated as follows. Once upon a time, the state police caught some thieves who had concealed themselves in the hermitage of Manduka Muni. The police constables, as usual, arrested all the thieves and Manduka Muni along with them. The magistrate specifically punished the Muni to death by being pierced with a lance. When he was just to be pierced, the news reached the king, and he at once stopped the act on consideration of his being a great Muni. The king personally begged the Muni's pardon for the mistake of his men, and the saint at once went to Yamaraja, who prescribes the destiny of the living beings. Yamaraja, being questioned by the Muni, replied that the Muni in his childhood pierced an ant with a sharpened straw, and for that reason he was put into difficulty. The Muni thought it unwise to the part of Yamaraja that he was punished for his childish innocence, and thus Muni cursed Yamaraja to become a Sudra. And this Sudra incarnation of Yamaraja was known as Vidura, the Sudra brother of Dhritarashtra and Maharaja Pandu. But the Sudra son of the Kuru dynasty was equally treated by Bhishmadeva along with his other nephews. And in due course, Vidura was married with a girl who was also born in the womb of a Sudrani by a Brahmana. Although Vidura did not inherit the property of his father, the brother of Bhishmadeva, still he was given sufficient state property by Dhritarashtra, the elder brother of Vidura. Vidura was very much attached to his elder brother, and all along he tried to guide him on the right path. During the fratricidal war of Kurukshetra, Vidura repeatedly implored his elder brother, to do justice to the sons of Pandu, but Duryodhana did not like such interference by his uncle, and thus he practically insulted Vidura. This resulted in Vidura's leaving home while pilgrimage and taking instruction from Maitreya. Dozens. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Purport. Om ajnanatimirandasya jnananjanasalakaya chakshururmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the new chapter in the first canto. Dhritarashtra quits home. So before we understand what this chapter talks about, let us understand the context behind this chapter. Why Dhritarashtra has to quit home. In the purport itself, Prabhupada mentioned in the last line, during the war of Kurukshetra, Vidura repeatedly implored his elder brother to do justice to the sons of Pandu. But Duryodhana did not like such interference by his uncle. So as you know, Vidura is highly scholared, brilliant pure devotee of Krishna. Not only that, he is a great advisory to the both Kauravas and Pandavas. Vidura repeatedly instructed Duryodhana, not Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, saying that Duryodhana is the main culprit for this entire war which is going to happen. But Dhritarashtra is too much attached to Duryodhana. Even though Duryodhana did so many mischievous activities, Dhritarashtra never said no for that. That's why Vidura again and again he was instructing Dhritarashtra, but Dhritarashtra never listened his instruction. But as you know, Duryodhana also will not keep quiet. He also gets angry. If someone continuously scolds him, how they cannot take it up. So he started scolding Vidura very harshly. But Vidura is a gentle and humble devotee. Without saying anything, he left the palace. That's why in Mahabharata war, greatest war, we never see Vidura participated in the war. No, he has not participated at all. Almost he went for the pilgrimage. How many years he went for pilgrimage? Almost 30 to 35 years he was in pilgrimage. He visited various temples, various dhams. He associated with various devotees to understand about self. Okay? If you see, in the case of Vibhishana also he was driven away. By whom? His own brother Ravana. But Vibhishana, he took shelter of Rama. But we don't see that kind of thing in the case of Vidura. Vidura, Vibhishana, he would have taken shelter of Lord Krishna. But he has not taken shelter of Lord Krishna, but he decided to go for the pilgrimage. So, Acharya says, what is the reason? So, Vidura is a very humble and pure devotee of Krishna. He was thinking, these many years I was associated with this Kauravas and Duryodhana. Because of their association, I incurred so much sin. So, how I can go and take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna with this sin? No, I don't want to go directly. Let me purify myself first. Then I will go to Krishna. He was thinking like that. Then he took a call to go for the pilgrimage. So while he was roaming as part of pilgrimage, he was visiting various places. It so happened once he visited a place called Prabhasa Kshetra, which is near Dwaraka. There he met Uddhava. Uddhava is one more pure devotee of Krishna. Before Uddhava proceeded for Badrinath, he has given some instructions to Vidura. Then he has guided for further instruction to go and meet Maitreya Rishi. That is how, based on the instructions of Uddhava, Vidura met Maitreya Muni on the banks of Yamuna. So Krishna, before he leaving this world, Krishna has given final instructions to Maitreya and asked him to convey the same message to Vidura. So when Vidura reached Prabhasa Kshetra, he understood that Krishna and all Pandavas already left the world. He was greatly lamenting at that time. Then he went to, as per the instructions of Uddhava, he went to the Maitreya and he got, there we can see in Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, the conversations of Maitreya and Vidura. These are very deep conversations. Then once Vidura understood the purpose of the life, he understood the self, then he proceeded back to the Hastināpura. So this is the context of this chapter. Now, Vidura, he returned back to the Hastināpura. When he returned to Hastināpura, all the Pandavas, they received very well. But at that time, he shocked to see one family. Who is that family? Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. They were nicely enjoying in the palace of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Now why he shocked? Because since childhood of Yudhishthira Maharaj or Pandavas, Dhritarashtra, Kauravas, they started torturing them in various ways, right? He forgot all those things. And Pandavas are the one who killed their old children, his children. He forgot that also. No one wants to stay with the enemy, yes or no? Who wants to stay with the enemy and enemy's family? He tortured, and his children also being killed by the Pandavas, and he is staying in his house and enjoying the life. So that made Vidura a shock. What kind of person he is? Then you see in this chapter, he scolds Dhritarashtra as a dog. You are eating remnant food like a dog. We see those instructions. Of course, Vidura is very soft corner towards Dhritarashtra. Soft corner in the sense to give spiritual instructions, to enlighten him. Dhritarashtra by nature good person, because of his attachment towards Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is very good person, but because of his attachment towards this Duryodhana, everything got spoiled. That is the main wrong association and this is the wrong culprit. So Vidura knows that, so he always wants to rectify that, he wants to make him enlightened. So now Vidura understood this is the height of the foolishness. He is staying with the enemy's house only. Even though Pandavas never treated them as the enemy, but he should have a common sense. So he gives the instructions in this chapter. Now before we see what instructions he has given, now let us see the name of this title of this chapter. What is this? Dhritarashtra quits home. This title also very wonderful title Prabhupada has given. Why we see in the scriptures various places, leave home, get out from home, don't stay home. Yes or no? How many of you come across this kind of vocabularies in the scriptures? Looks like you are a little new or hesitant to raise the hand, but it is the fact. Right? So why scriptures are talking, go away, go away, go away? Now what is the intentions of that? Let us try to understand. Now since few weeks, all the devotees, they are calmed and happy to see the movie. What is that? Mahavatar Narasimha Dev. Right? Everyone wants to see that movie. Yes or no? How many of you seen? Yeah. So even our devotees also planning to see. Okay? No, okay. The movie is very nice. The fights all are very nice. Now let us understand why Narasimha Dev has descended to this earth. Who is the cause for that? Who is the cause? Prahlad Maharaj. So now what Prahlad Maharaj is talking about, the house or home. Right? Now when you are seeing the movie, you should understand what is the intention. Now what is the Prahlad Maharaja is talking about the home. So this is a very famous verse. You see in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. What is that verse? Tatsadu manye asuravarya dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam asat grahat hitvatma patam gruhamandakupam vanam gatoyat harimasrayeta. It's a very wonderful verse from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Prabhupada many times he quoted this verse. He says, sada samudvigna dhyam asat grahat hitvatma patam gruham andhakupam. Very wonderfully he says, gruham is andhakupam. Andha means blind. Kupam means well. I don't know if you are from the villages, you see in villages they dig big wells. If they don't get water, they live like that. I have an experience in my village. Just in front of my house, there's a huge well they dig. There was no water. It is in the mountain terrain. So they left like that. When rains comes, what happens over a period of time? The plants, the bushes will come and form. They close everything. You don't see anything. The entire earth will be greenery. The cattle sometimes, the sheep and cows and buffaloes, they come for eating this grass. It so happened one pregnant buffalo, huge buffalo, still I remember. It was also coming and eating, the grass, all those things, and fell into the well. It was screaming and crying and lamenting. Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. No one could do anything. Buffalo means, how much weight it is? 400, 500 kilos. And well is this much. Who can lift the buffalo? No one. The buffalo, the baby in the womb, everyone died. In front of our eyes. Still I remember. We could not do anything. So that is called Andhakupam. What is that? I'm giving some gross example to understand what is Andhakupam. There is no water, it's only suffering. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is saying Gruham is Andhakupam. Once you enter into Gruha, that's all. You cry, you lament, you scream. People will listen, but they cannot do anything. No one can help. Who can help? No one can help. These are the little facts, difficult to digest, but yes, I need to repeat as per the scripture. People think Grihastha life is like a KBR park. Once they enter, they understand it is a Jurassic Park. All are dinosaurs, right? In-laws are one kind of dinosaurs, children are other kind of dinosaurs, wife, husband, peer pressure, neighbors, all. Then he realized like these are the dinosaurs. This is also Bhagavatam very wonderfully says, Ata Sutapta, what is that? Ata Gruha Kshetra Sutapta Vittar Janasya Mohoyam Aham Mameti. This is what Bhagavatam says. So now, you may say, Prabhu, we are all software engineers or business people. We spend crores and crores of rupees to construct the house. We have taken so much EMIs. Still we are paying our EMIs. 15 years, 20 years, 25 years we are paying our EMIs. Now how can we leave the home so easily? Yes or no? And if you see entire metropolitan cities, the business is real estate only. Right? So earlier days, homes made very simple. Little mud, little brick, that's all. Even if you lose also nothing, you can construct one more house. But modern houses are very costly. Interiors are much more costly. Yes or no? Rosewood, sandalwood, cots, toilets, special paints, special lights, these are all very costly. So you are increasing your attachment to the house. You cannot leave so easily, right? So now what is the solution? So Krishna is so cruel for the modern people? No. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given a alternative solution for it. Yes, Kali Yuga people are very difficult. Manda sumanda matayo manda bhagyaha. They cannot leave. It's very difficult. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, nothing to worry. You install Nitai Gauranga or Radha Krishna and make home as a Vrindavan. And you stay there only. So he has given a practical solution for the modern people. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy at home. Now, before we see some more practical applications of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas and our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given, now let us understand some more deeper aspects of this Gruha. Many times, yes, a gross understanding of Gruha means house, right? But the subtle understanding of Gruha is body. Who stays in house is called Grihastha. That is gross understanding. Who maintains bodily conception of life, also called Grihastha. Grihastha is not like only a married person. It's not like that. Having a bodily conception of life also called Grihastha. So Bhagavatam is talking about both versions. To leave home, also you should be free from the bodily conceptions of life. That is much more deeper and difficult to come out from that. So now, in this chapter, Vidura talks about both the things, gross as well as subtle. So Brahmachari says they may not have any families. Now what is the no they think, can they think that they're liberated? No. We have one more problem, bodily conception of life. It's much more deeper to conquer and fight with that. So now, what is the problem with bodily concept of life? Is it so serious, so dangerous? Yes, that's what Prahlad Maharaja is saying in the second line. Sada samudvigna dhyam asadgruhat. If we maintain this bodily conception of life, what happened? You cannot be happy and peaceful. Sada, always samudvigna. Always anxiety. Why? Because of this bodily concept of life. If you think you are an Indian, now you need to fight with a Pakistani. If you think you are Reddy, you need to fight with a Chaudhary. Or if you think you are a Christian, you need to fight with a Muslim. See? So this bodily concept of life is not so simple. This is the main culprit for all sufferings. Okay? So we should not take it as the very light, this bodily concept of life at all. Okay? Now, third statement, he says, Sada samudvigna dhyam asadgruhat. Now what he says next? Prahlad Maharaj says, Hitvatma papam gruham andhakupam. Hitva, he says, Hitva, go away. From where? Atmapatam is also very deep meaning. Atmapatam means the place where there is no self-realization, or the place where no one is discussing about self or self-realization, no one is giving self-realization. Then Prahlad Maharaj is saying, don't stay there. Hitva atmapatam. Don't stay there where there is no self-realizations, those topics are being discussed. Don't stay. Now, where he has to go? Vanam gatoyad harimasrayeta. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, you go to Vana and take Hari, shelter of Hari. Now again, now we have constructed big houses. Now what about us? Now where we should go? Yes. So in the modern context, the Vanas are our Hare Krishna movement temples. Okay. These are the only Vanas. We are in the Banjara Hills. It is a hill, very greenery. Yes. So now what you should do here? You should associate with the devotees and understand this knowledge. Where you will get this kind of knowledge in the world? Nowhere, no one discuss. People hesitate to discuss also if they are interested, if they have little interest. So you take advantage of these Hare Krishna movement temples, and these are the real Vanas. Now Prahlad Maharaj says, don't stay at home. Yes, you cannot go away from the home. At least once in a Sundays you come here, you spend here. Attend Arati, chant with the devotees, attend Bhagavatam classes, make your life perfect. At least once in a week. If you are unable to come once in a week, no one can save. That's called Andhakupam. At least once in a week you come from the Andhakupa and get recharged here and go back and continue. Do your best to come out from the Andhakupa as much as possible. Okay, now what are the other instructions, scriptures talking about this? Brahma, he says, Sthane sthiti srutigatam tanuvan manobhihi. Whatever position, whatever situation you are, you be there and practice spirituality. If you are a student, you be a student and practice spirituality. If you are a householder, you be a householder and practice spirituality. Yes, so Brahma has given this. Also, we see a wonderful Vaishnava bhajan from Narottam Das Thakur. Gauranga bolite hobe pulaka sarira, hari hari bolite nayana hobe nira. Then he says, Ara kabe nitay chande karuna hobe samsara vasana mora kabe tucha hobe. See, Narottam Das Thakur again is saying, he is praying to the Lord, when I will be free from this samsara vasana. Samsara means again same, bodily concept of life. Samsara vasana kabe hobe tucha hobe. When I consider this bodily concept of life or this samsara as tucha, that is the perfection of the life. If we don't feel like that, means still we are in the bodily concept of life, still we have to practice sadhana rigorously. Okay, so even of course our famous Mangalarti song starts with Samsara Dava. See, Samsara is compared with the Dava Nala, forest fire. No one can stop it. So Vidura again and again he talks about these things in this chapter. Now, Prabhupada, he says one of the conversation, it is a shame for the king to die in the home. It is a shame for the king to die in the home or palace. Now, what is the glory for him? The glory for the king is he should die in the battlefield. That is the glory. Similarly, if persons die at home, again, one is gross home, one is subtle home. What is the subtle home? If person die with bodily concept of life, that is called parabhava. That's called parabhava, means failure of the life. Now, how should people die? They should die by awakening Krishna consciousness, awakening the love of Godhead. That is the glorious death. So that should be the goal of all the devotees. We should not die. We should not die as a grihastha. Grihastha means bodily concept of life, but we should die with fully Krishna consciousness. Okay, so we see this kind of this kind of instructions Vidura gives to Dhritarashtra, and he inspires Dhritarashtra to leave home and take shelter of Krishna. Okay, with this I want to conclude. If you have any questions, I will try to address few as much as possible. Gandharaj